Hey guys, it's me, Maddie at Gardy Goodies, and today we're going to be making this teacup from the book A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is a very popular and well-loved book. So first I am starting out with just my normal sugar cookie recipe here. You can find this on my sugar cookie crash course that's available on my website. And I'm using two different consistencies of royal icing. So this outline icing that I'm using to outline the teacup is a lot thicker than the flood icing that I'm going to use to flood it. So first I'm just going to flood the handle part of the teacup, as you can see here. And then I'm also going to flood the bottom portion. Basically, I'm flooding the portions that don't touch so that we can maintain some dimension in between the different elements of the design. Then in the top, I'm just using this light mocha color for the tea, and that's just in a flood consistency. And then I'm just going to outline where the little tea bag would hang on the side. You could also leave this just as a naked cookie. I like to give it a white background just because the tea bag is going to be a very small area of the cookie, and I want to make sure that when it dries it doesn't crater. Small areas like the handle on the teacup or the top of the tea can often crater when they dry. Alright, next up, I've let the cookie dry for about 10 minutes before I proceeded on with this step. One way that I know that it's dry is when it's not quite as shiny. It has a little bit more of a matte look to it. And then I went in and flooded the main portion of this cookie. And then I set this in front of a fan for a full 24 hours before I continued on with the next step, which was printing directly on my cookie. So I used my Eddie, the edible ink printer, to print this little logo of the cereal tea house that I just designed in Canva using their logo option, and then lined it up on my sprinkle tray and printed directly onto my cookie. Again, I like to print onto a fully dry cookie. And then it looks like the print came out exactly where I want it, right in the center of my teacup there. Now, while it's still wet, I'm gonna bring this back to my decorating area and take a little bit of Truly Mad Plastics silver luster dust and just dab it onto the ink while it is still wet, and then take a dry brush and brush it off. This will give us that amazing silver shine, but it does need to be done right away when the cookie is still wet, and then I usually brush off the remaining excess silver. And then on the little tea bag there, I'm going to take an edible marker. This is from Tweet's Cookie Connection, and draw a little sparkle on there. And I'm going to use that exact same technique of brushing the silver dust onto the wet marker. So if you don't have an Eddie, the edible ink printer, this is a great technique for you to use to get that same amazing silver shine on your cookie. So while it's still wet, I'm just dabbing just a little bit of that silver on with my luster dust. And here is my entire set for A Court of Thorns and Roses. If you enjoyed this, I would love if you liked and subscribed to my channel to see more amazing cookie content.